hide any necessary detail from your computer. Rootkits and backdoors. Most probably you haven't heard these words before. Let's see what are the rootkits. Rootkits and backdoors are pieces of malware that create methods to retain access to a machine. They could range from simple to the very complex. Let's say program listening to a pod from a program which will hide processes in memory or modifying the log files. Often a backdoor will be simple as creating an additional user in a password file which has a super user privileges. Backdoor is designed to bypass the system's normal authentication. So both well-known viruses, Sobik and MyDoom viruses, install backdoors as part of their payload. Here we come to the next new topic, logic bombs and time bombs. Logic bombs and time bombs are programs which have no replication ability and no ability to create an access method, but are the applications of part of an applications that will cause damage to the data should they become active. Two important reasons to keep in mind: the time bomb can be activated against a given timer, and a logic bomb can be activated when a certain event. So you can time out logic bombs and time bombs according to a timer or according to a certain event occurred. At the end of a trial period, the program ceases to function unless a registration code is provided. Okay, hope you have an idea about the malware attacks, different kind of malwares, what kind of damage they can do to our computer systems. So the key thing you have to keep in mind, we have to be protected from these kind of attacks. But the problem, how to protect from malware based attacks? Don't worry, we have some mechanisms. So several mechanisms used as countermeasures. First thing is antiviruses, NIDS, HIDS, firewalls. Don't worry, I'll explain NIDS and HIDS in further lessons, and firewalls and the sandboxes. First, let's take a look at antiviruses. Antivirus software is available in many commercial and open source versions. They each have a database of known viruses, and they will match the signatures of these against the files on the system to see if there are any infections. Very simple mechanisms. They have a signature database and they will match against the system files. With modern viruses, these signatures are very small. Then what these antiviruses are doing is, they can be often be false positives, things that appear to be virus that are not. Some virus scanners employ a technique known as heuristic, which means that they have a concept of what a virus looks like and can determine if an unknown application matches these criteria. NIDS, we call it Networks Instruction Detection software, is similar to antivirus software. It looks for a particular signature or behavior from worm or viruses. It can then either alert the user or automatically stop the network traffic carrying on the malware. So these kind of softwares are based on, or specially based on, the networking environment. Another important thing, HIDS, name implies host based instruction detection systems. Okay, we have some examples. Tripwire. It is capable of detecting changes made to the files, and it is reasonable to accept that an application, once it is compiled, should not need a change. Watching various aspects of it, such as its size, last modification date, and checksum, make it instantly obvious that something is wrong. So these HIDSs are monitoring the file modifications, and they will alert the user when any unauthorized modification is being done. Firewalls, most probably this is very often you have heard. worms propagate across the network by connecting to the vulnerable services on each host. Apart from ensuring that none of these vulnerable services are running, the next best thing is to ensure that your firewall does not allow connection to these services. Many modern firewalls will provide some form of packet filtering similar to NIDS, which will rule out packets matching certain signature. You have seen your Windows firewalls. Maybe you can buy some third-party firewalls to your computer system, and the firewalls are monitoring the network traffic. Moving on to the sandboxes, this implies that a given application cannot perform anything addition to the specified task. This is the same concept implemented in standard Java programming language and also in the chroot in Linux environment. So this sandboxes isolates the virtual machine from the host operating system, only allowing access as defined by the user. So here I have mentioned some details about the sandboxes. You can go through these slides and have an idea about it. Okay, hope now you had an idea about what are the malwares, different types of malwares, and how to avoid the attacks made by these kind of unwanted softwares. So before winding up, I have to give you some good safety advices. First thing, there are a number of simple things that you can do in order to minimize your risk to malwares. First thing, only download from reputable sources. You have to go for the trusted sources. Second thing, don't open email attachments from people you don't know. Make sure the connection is trusted and the sender is trusted. Third thing, don't leave macros enabled by default in your applications. Do not leave macros. The fourth one, keep your OS and applications up to date with patches. You have to update all the versions. Keep them up to date. Finally, if downloading and installing software with a checksum, please be kind enough to check the checksum. That's important. So keep in mind all these safety advices. It will be protected from, or it will minimize your risk at malware. So I have to give you a kind of conclusion to the presentation. Now you have an idea about kind of what are the network attacks, what type of network attacks can be done into your computer systems, and what is a malware and different types of malware, how much risk they had, and we have already covered the parts of mechanism of awareing the malware attacks, antiviruses, sandboxes, NIDs likewise. So then you have had some idea about good safety guides. So this is what we have covered during the last 10 or 15 minutes. Now we have to wind up from this presentation and make sure that each and every time you are using a computer system, you have to keep in mind all the safe guides that I have mentioned. Okay, thank you.